Hi there. In this video we will be taking a look at this nJoy UPS. And exactly this is the model, and it is actually a 600 watts. So 1000 volt amps, 0.6 power factor means 600 watts. And it has this HID USB connection, so it allows this UPS to make Windows read it, and it will show like a battery icon, like you would have on a laptop. And you can still see the power level and adjust the settings directly for Windows, from Windows, which is awesome. It has an LCD on it. Many other competitors at this price point don't have LCDs anymore, and they don't have, for example, network protection. This one has gigabit network protection, which for me is perfect. And it has bigger batteries than average 1000 volt amp models, which is awesome, and also it charges them quicker. These guys that built this, the company itself is from Romania, and they are actually located quite close to the area I'm located in. So I'm happy I found them. Although I bought an Eton UPS, an 850 volt amp, 480 watts actually, sorry, model that was really bad. The video will be in the description. Do not get that Eton. It was honestly atrocious. I got actually puzzled how somebody could actually build something like that, because it just didn't make any sense. We have included also this, which that particular Eton did not have, so that's awesome. It's a USB connection cable. We have the power cable, which the Eton did not have. They did include with the Eton cable that would connect from the UPS itself to a standard computer. But if you wanted to connect something else to the UPS, well, tough luck for you. This has its power cable, which I don't think it can be taken out. It's directly merged with the case, to say it like that. Let me try and find a way to rotate this box without actually getting the UPS out. I think this is the way to do it. Okay. And now we have the manual. We will take a look at that in a moment. This is quite a beefy unit, to tell you the truth. Which is the bottom. This is the bottom. Another manual or something like that. This I think has actually two batteries in it. So it's not only more powerful than the Eton that I started with, but obviously also will have a longer lifetime, runtime actually. Hopefully also lifetime. So be back in a second. Let's arrange this. Yes, you cannot take out the power cable, but much better than the Eton, this has standard sockets. So you can plug into this anything that you want. And another more important thing, they are protected for children. So they are child-proof, which is awesome. Forgot to show you some info about it. This is the size of the box, I think. And the weight, actually that's the weight of the product, and I think this is the weight of the box. Anyway, something like that, I think. Not really that into labels, so hopefully I'm not wrong. So again, we have the 1000 volt amp model. Thank you for purchasing our products. Well, you are welcome, and thank you for making them. This is the package contents. front back view for the model from 650 to 850 volt amps. For the model that I have, and for the bigger ones that also have a fan. I don't require a bigger one. I don't have big loads. I want longer runtime, but this would be overkill. As you can see, this actually has a connector for the power, which is the standard cable basically that you use to power computers. But the outputs are still Shuko or Suko. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But as you can see, maximum 4 of them, which we already have. So it will automatically go to 20% brightness in 20 seconds, which is perfect. And if we shortly press it, it gets bright. Or in battery mode, fault or alarm, in case you don't have power, it will be fully bright. So you can read it. Power on off, short press for brighten, long press on or off of the whole UPS, connected to this power utility power. Actually no, connect to utility power. Yeah, for us it's kind of there, nothing that we can do about it. Again, what the HID USB does, this is awesome, the gigabit protection, input circuit breaker. Okay, 6. So that tiny button right there is the input circuit breaker. And only this model has it. This one doesn't seem to have the 6, only ours. Let's see about the other one. Yeah, it also has it. So for this one, could actually be something from software or it's automatic. I'm not really sure. But for the smaller ones and for ours, it's basically a push button on the back. Transportation, condensation, no moist environments for this UPS, kind of for all electronics. Don't overload it with laser printers, for example. Those can draw a lot instantly. So kind of don't want that. Yeah. Feel free to pause at any time. For the moment, I'm just reading what for me seems really important. Risk of electric shock. Well, yes, the battery circuit is not insulated from the input voltage. So if you are opening this thing up, do not open it up while it's still connected to mains. That would be just dumb as everything. But I don't know, somebody's trying to change the batteries and they forgot to disconnect it. That's bad. That's really bad, because the battery terminals could actually electrocute you. So yeah, and yes, don't do a short between the battery terminals. When you are replacing them, don't have wrist watches, rings and anything else. If you watch AVE channel on YouTube, he always puts insulation tape on his wedding ring. So you don't want to short something with this, and this will become glowing hot and you cannot take your hand out. You cannot take it out like this when you are in a frenzy. That's not gonna be fun. Either take it off or tape over it. Presumably his wife doesn't approve of taking off, so taping. I'm joking, of course. Anyway, placement, storage. Read everything about it. This is the display, battery state, load, and those in the middle, presumably one is showing us when it's on battery, but the other ones I'm not sure about. So I will check. And yes, from here, power software download, view power. You can download the software to fully manage the UPS. These are fully software manageable, hence this thingy. They directly work with Windows without additional software, but you can install additional software to get more features and presumably see more things. I didn't properly show this. I didn't realize that they were the indications for the LCD. So when it's in standby, not doing anything, it's like this, standby mode. when it's AC mode and you have actually something connected to the outputs and the advanced or automatic, maybe it's automatic voltage regulation is working, because it will adjust from 176 to 270 volts input to 230 stable output, if I remember correctly the values. I will link the page of the product and you can see there more info. Obviously it can regulate the voltage. If it's overload, well, you are getting this thingy and the icons, as you can see, will flash for the load. And the alarm will be quite beep, beep, beep. So you know you are overloading this unit. In battery mode, that will be there. And alarm every 10 seconds. We can actually disable this, which is important for me from the software. And when this is low, the icon will flash every second. Self-test mode, via software, battery replacement, okay, only available for the model with communication function, okay, overload in battery mode, again flashing, and fault mode, exclamation mark and a 0. Hope never to see that. And we are ready. Forgot to mention something else about this. It's all plastic all over. First, for the Eton, I was very surprised. I thought, hey, this cannot be a decent UPS being plastic. But then I actually realized after a bit of online digging that most budget UPSs are plastic, but at least 100% we know from nJoy it's a non-flammable plastic, presumably also for the Eton. So yes, in my Eton video we will have a disclaimer that it's actually not that bad that it's plastic. I was used to older APC models that were not budget, so those were metal. Anyway, maybe newer ones are also plastic for them, who knows. So yeah, newer and cheaper ones, because the most expensive hopefully are still metal. Anyway, let's plug it in for the first time and see what we get. Then I will plug it into the USB and see what we get without installing absolutely any software first. First plug in, and it's kind of live, and it's in the standby mode where basically we have nothing on the load. So this is off, 0 volts, and we have 226 volts, 224, moving up and down input, and the battery comes at 100%, which it kind of doesn't for the Eton. Did I remember correctly? Or another model was a touchscreen? I think another model was actually a touchscreen, not this one. I will link the other one also in the description. I think that one is a little bit cheaper or something like that. So at this point, let's connect this. And yes, the Eton had the USB in the front, which was just plain dumb. This obviously has it at the back of the unit. And I need to get the unit a bit further down here because I don't see it. It's up top. This will be a long video, but all of my videos are basically long, so my subscribers should be used to it by the moment. A tiny router connected to this, if I could actually do it, hopefully. Yep, and it's on. The router is rebooting. And we do actually have it there, HID UPS battery. But where is battery? Can you see it? I'm sure you can see it. Power options. But I don't think it will show me both batteries. And yes, basically these are only power options, not battery info. Yikes. Windows 11. Let's see if I go directly through here. Maybe here, power and battery. Battery to 0% and charging. I don't think that's accurate. And I'm not sure that's the UPS. I am doing this on a laptop with obviously a battery, and I'm running from battery. So, yeah. Dummy HTML. Duh. And yes, there is a Chinese, I presume that is variant, and you could see the error in Chinese. Let's see. For Windows, user manual, no. Mac, no. Linux software, as you can see it here. Nice. We are for Windows 10. Let's see. XP server, nope, this one. We have Windows 11, but presumably it will still work with this Windows 10 version. Oh, actually no, it also says Windows 11 right there. I missed it. Extracting the archive, install it. It shows us the flow, so from the input we are bypassing the internals and going to the output also, and from the input we are also going into the battery, which shows the voltage, shows the charging percent, and it shows the backup time, but I'm not sure for what size of load this particular backup Dropbox, shut up, is actually calculated, because as you can see at load level we kind of have nothing at the moment. So I'm going to let it go to 100% charge. I have no reason not to let it. Let's see, line mode, can we change something here? I don't think we can change anything here. It's a line interactive unit, this UPS. You can read all about it in its description page. They do much better job than I could ever. This is the input voltage, battery capacity, and load level. Basically nothing. That router draws nothing. Line mode, battery info, output info. It's a diagram. Let's see, like here. This gives us way more info than the Eton would ever. So you can see, are these minutes? No, these are seconds. So it shows us, let's see, what variance do we have? How stable the voltage is. For me it's quite stable, as you can see. So I like it. Output, same, because it's identical. We are not doing anything to it. The voltage is good, what we are getting. Frequency stable, load level 0. We will test with normal loads, with more than just a tiny router, because this router takes 3 watts. Its absolute maximum rated is 18 watts. It will never draw that, but anyway, about 3 watts I think it's drawing now, so this should run forever. And we are seeing also the battery voltage right here. Yeah, let's see what else do we have here. Man, this... Okay. I think, honestly, this is a bit more in depth than I could deal with. Alarm control. It's on, so I can set it off. Yep. Self-test, we can do it from here. Și eu te iubesc, omuleț mic. Okay, and my wife and daughter, one of them daughter is sleeping, just contacted me for a moment. Scheduled on off. Okay. Nice. Schedule self-test. Nice, sir. That's actually cool. This UPS has so many tricks up its sleeve. So this is working. This doesn't really properly do anything. That's just some kind of menu that it's somehow a leftover. Search, not really sure. Auto run search. Okay, wait, will this be also recognized by my network if I connect it? This is going to be interesting. Anyway, yes, we might set this to off. Hopefully it does remain off, because on the Eton it got reset to on every single time and it was highly annoying. Temperature centigrade. But we have temperature somewhere around here. I didn't see it. Okay. So this is the purchase date of the battery. Basically, yes, it's camera focus. How long have you been out of focus? I'm sorry about this. Line interactive, as you can see. Purchase date, yep, correct, today. I might be dealing with way more info than I was honestly thinking. LAN internet, they are not doing anything at the moment. But this might be able to see it. We are seeing it through this, but we basically might be able to see it through this or even online. That could be quite cool. I don't even know what to tell you more about this thingy, apart from I'm going to let it, you can see the voltage, it did have a spike. Ha! Output, what happened? No, it let it because it was still in the proper range, so it didn't feel like it needs to do anything to it, which I 100% agree. Man, this is going to be a long video. This has even more options. It can send you an SMS or an email in case of events. Has wake on LAN from what I can see here. Yeah, this is a lot to play with, honestly. It's much more than the Eton gives you, and honestly than most APC give you, at least the ones that I played with, the ones that are still consumer graded. Not graded. So yeah, real-time control. Okay, we were already here. Status, history, date. Actually, we played around here. Let's see. Actually, no, email. Okay. This is cool. Yeah, you can, but I think you need to set something in here. So you need to set the info of the email you want to send to use as a sending email. So it will not send you from an nJoy email or something like that. You need to input your own email that you want to use, and you will basically get the email to this receiver address that you also change. Obviously, you add one right here, and you can also delete this one right here if you want. So you get it from here to here. And let SMS, how does that work? Okay, I think we need to be connected to a modem or something to get this. Again, this is who? Okay, much more involved than I was expecting when I started the video. Broadcast. Phone number, email, that's cool. trigger the alarm on the computer if any of these, the ones that you want basically to check this happen. Yeah. Also, something else. Do not get scared about the software. You do not need to play with it. This still works as a battery, as a UPS. So you could see even if we don't install the software, somehow Windows sees it. But because this is a laptop, kind of, it's a bit tricky. Maybe on a desktop it will be much easier. But even if you don't connect its cable, this will still work as an UPS. So yeah. And also voltage regulator and has all kind of protections even for gigabyte networks. And this is the next day, so I gave it a good chance to charge overnight, 100%. It's saying 70 minutes, but I'm not sure at what load, because as you can see it kind of sees it at 0 because it's only a small router. So anyway, let's go unplug it and see what happens. Be careful for any loud beeping. As for noise, I can tell you it's making less noise than the Eton. At least to my ears, the Eton was a bit noisier. AC failure, as you can see, message. Close. So at this point we are kind of relying on it. We are on battery, 228 volts on the output, 0 on the input, no load, battery is full. I'm going to try and see, where was it? Somewhere in here, no, in here, alarm control. Okay, sure. So the password is administrator, but after you input the password right there, it basically just gets you back to this menu. So you need to press on this again. You want to operate, confirm. And no more beeping. Awesome. And hopefully this remains set as no more beeping, because I don't want to hear it beeping every single time. It's quite annoying. Okay, we are at 59 minutes remaining, 84% battery, and I must admit I'm kind of disappointed. Actually, remove the kind of, I'm disappointed. I realized that basically this type of units are highly inefficient in my opinion. Because even with a really tiny 3 watt load, this thing is going through the battery like there's no tomorrow. Because basically its internal electronics are doing most of the power consumption. Yes, it's lasting way more than the Eton, but still way less than I would expect it to last. And basically, if I think about it, actually, the Eton did last for a long time, but it was just shutting off like an idiot by itself, because it was not really measuring the consumed power, but it was guessing somehow. I wonder if this one, after it goes down to 0, if I will power it again, it will again work for some time. And the 70 minutes have passed, battery is at 0%, at least that's what we are being shown here, but it seems to still be running. And yes, it did last for 70 minutes, but it seems to be lasting more than that now. So we are in overtime, which is awesome for me. We'll see when it actually shuts down. I think it did request, sent a request to my laptop, hey laptop, shut down. But still going strong. So that's kind of perfect, exactly what I wanted, to go until the battery drains. So the battery to be the limiting factor, not just some software gibberish. And that's what I'm getting. Still running. And if this reading is accurate, these batteries still have a charge in them. So basically,
my load is so low that it's outside of any specs of this particular unit, so it had no idea how to deal with it. That is why, man, I'm drained. It's when this was designed, it was never intended to work with such low load, but it's able to cope with it, so it is working. Okay, it doesn't know the charge percentage anymore, and it doesn't know the backup estimated backup time anymore, but it's still working until the battery will get below the minimum voltage, and then it will say, okay, now I'm discharged, and I will shut off. This is exactly what the Eton was not doing. It was just looking at the initial timer. When that ran out, it would shut off. So this nJoy is doing exactly what I needed to do and what I wanted it to do, and basically running for as long as the battery has juice in it, has a charge in it. It's not over discharging the battery because it has built-in sensing to see the limit. It's using that. The Eton wasn't using that. Maybe it doesn't even have it inside. Good on you, nJoy. It's exactly what I want, and it's going over those 70 minutes by a good margin already. We'll see for how long it will last. Who knows? If we split this, it means it has two batteries. So it means they are at 12.7 volts each. In a 12-volt battery lead acid battery language, that's still kind of almost fully charged. So this might be running for a long while, or maybe this isn't 100% super accurate. Anyway, this might still be running for a good while from now on. It already did run a long while, and it might run even more. But I wish it were a better correlation between the voltage and the charge percent in this software, because these two should be kind of linked. This is a voltage for lead acid batteries, so we are basically still here. So the UPS might still be running for a long while, depending on how accurate the voltage reading is, and if we have exactly the standard lead acid battery, we might have a different internal chemistry than the standard one 100%. But anyway, in theory at least we are still good. If we take a look in the documentation, these are the dimensions that were on the box, some of them. This is the discharge graph, but it basically only shows it up to 25%. From here on, we have no idea how this line continues. And that's what we are seeing now. It seems to continue going up and up and up and up, which is exactly what I was hoping for. If you want to see more of the specs, here they are. Oh, so it had up to 270, 280. I'm seeing one and I'm saying another. Okay. This is the transfer time. Simulated sine wave is the waveform, so it's not a pure sine. And this is the operating situation. This is the battery inside. There are two of them, and so they are lead acid, voltage regulated ones it seems, and they are AGM, exactly as I have in my car. So the acid inside, it's not sloppy in there. It has some mats, they are called, it seems, that kind of keep it in place when you rotate and move this battery. Okay, info in here about the temperature. So the colder you get a bit less capacity of the battery. These are the voltages for charging. 200 and more than 260 cycles, so this is high cycle battery. These are the dimensions, weight, more and more info. Man, they give us so much, the guys right here. And here we kind of need to
Discharge time, minutes. I need to figure out what this graph is telling us. Be back in a second.
We are looking at this. So the lower your load on it, obviously the longer it will maintain the nominal voltage, and then it begins to drop. But it will not drop that much until it's fully discharged. That just a little bit under 11 volts. But we are still way above that. We are still around here, at least from what I can think of. And this, until this, we have minutes, and in this area we have minutes, and in here we are starting to get into hours. 20 hours max at a really low discharge rate. I don't think we are there, but we should get a lot of runtime from what I'm seeing up until this point. But if you try to draw a lot from the battery, yes, it will really quickly start to go down. But we are in the higher cases, not really sure on which of these curves, maybe in a middle of two of them, who knows. But this UPS is perfect for what I need, and it uses properly the batteries, and it doesn't do software gibberish stupid things. It uses the hardware in it to do what it's supposed to do. Great nJoy, great work. Did I tell you that this charges the battery really quickly? 4 hours from fully depleted. That's really quick. The Eton was at least twice as long. In terms of heat, you just know that it's on, but yes, my load is really low. So the higher the load, presumably the more heat. But then again, the batteries will not last that long, so it will not have that much time to heat up. For me, it's barely warm, and it's about the same temperature as when it's plugged in. We are somewhere in between 2 to 3 hours, not 100% sure, and we are slowly beginning to drop the voltage. Actually, not really drop. Drop would imply that it goes quickly down. Beginning to lower the voltage really slowly. And I needed to go with the daughters to the doctor, so I have no idea when this thing shut off. So what I can do now, see if I can power it on. What load it says it has. Still says it has a lot of load. No. I literally cannot talk. Battery. And it starts beeping, so it doesn't remember the beeping off. Man, that's annoying. Why don't UPSs remember beeping off? So it still has battery. That much battery. Is this some kind of joke? Let me enter the software, see if it shows me when it shut off and how much battery we actually have left. Can it go for another few good hours? And in the software you can see we still have almost 25 volts. Maybe it had time to recover some of the voltage, so I don't know. And I'm putting a really basically out of the specs really low load on it. So this might not be real. With a higher load it could be dropping instantly and the battery could be actually depleted. Anyway, it lasted more than 3 hours. I'm quite sure of it. So it kind of did what I needed to do in case of a power outage. I can continue to use the laptop and have internet via the 4G router, which is awesome. Because laptop has battery, router did not have battery, so I had working laptop but no internet. Now this gives me also internet. Anyway, there's that. But I'm not able to properly find some logs to see when it shut off. If I go to status is this, if I go to history, can kind of get nothing. So yeah, I needed to hit browse. Without hitting browse it's not showing anything, but after I hit browse we have everything here. So I'm going to try and figure out when this shut off and why. Okay, after digging around a bit more, I found some logs. This thing ran for about 2 hours and 45 minutes or something like that. But when it shut off, which was here, the battery voltage was still high. So it didn't really recover at all. It was just still had a charge in it. So I'm not sure if there was a timer or something else ended up shutting it down. I'm going to try and contact nJoy and see if they can have any insights on this thing, but yep, it seems to be going strong once again, so who knows for how long. This has the potential of running for many hours on a really low load. So yeah, kind of there's that, and I'm also going to ask them if I can disable the beeping forever. And I mean the no AC beeping, not fault beeping, error beeping, whatever. Just the one for AC, no AC input. It's annoying, it's really annoying to hear this all the time and need to come in the software and disable it. Yikes. Ha, just realized what was shutting down my laptop, this particular setting, so I need to find a way to disable it, or maybe set it to, I don't know, battery at 5% or something. Who knows? I will figure out something that works well for me. This thing is still running, and it's more than 3 hours, so almost 3 hours at the first startup and more than 3 hours at the second one. If somehow we can join these two, so it has one really long run, maybe it's still learning the battery. That could make sense. This would be awesome to keep our router awake during power outages. Okay, so got my reply from nJoy. This thing powered off about another 4 hours of runtime. So, I don't know, 7 hours total or something like that. That's a lot. Basically, the audible alarm cannot be fully disabled ever. In theory, the setting is kept for as long as there is at least power in the batteries or power in the mains. If it shut off like this and there's also no mains plugged in, then the settings are again lost. So yes, there's that. And about the two separate, one 3 hours and one about 4 hours runtimes, they don't recommend you power it on the second time after it shuts off the first time by itself. Because that means that you go deeper in discharging the batteries than you would normally do. That's, for me, it's a bit weird because it was showing the batteries at 25 volts, so 12.5 each. At least that's my understanding. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, good enough for me. The situation at this point is good enough for me, and I don't think honestly I'm going to get anything better from any other brand or UPS. So plug it in, let it fully properly charge, and basically keep on using it from this moment on. And about the automatic restart, if it was on when power went out and the battery got fully discharged, when you plug it in, it will be on once again. And weirdly enough, it is showing 3 lines. So yeah, my use scenario might be a bit weird for any UPS out there in the end, but hey, at least I'm getting many hours of use on the router out of this thing. Remembered about this releasing some smoke and heating up in the Eton. Will it do the same here? It's not all the way in. I'm just using one hand. Nope, it's not. But it is a bit warm in the area where that resistor stays. So it might also overheat in the nJoy, but slower. So this thing only likes pure sine waves, probably. Forgot to mention that this kind of gives a plastic smell
at the beginning. Presumably in time it will go away, and we have a little error in the plastic mold right here. Just want to mention this will show a small load even without anything connected. Probably it's the internal consumption, so I was a bit hard on the Eton that it was showing some consumption, but it was saying it's on the output. This doesn't really necessarily directly say it's on the output, but yeah, so it's itself actually consuming the battery while it's staying on, even if it has nothing connected. It makes sense. But in the app, it doesn't show it, only if you have something connected to it. So yeah. I was running some more tests on this, and the location of the ports is poorly chosen if you are trying to run directly some adapters for router and other devices off of it, because it will interfere the ports. This will interfere one with the other. It limits you a lot. So I wish they were straight and allow you to go directly to the outside with the cables, and this in here. Maybe at one time they wanted it to be there and ended up with it here. And also this is really flimsy, extremely flimsy. So in the end I'm not 100% sure I will use that.
I can do this now. Can I actually do this now? Ooh. Although we can see the way the plastic has flown through the mold in the injection machine. Quite cool if you play around with plastics like I do, or at least I did mostly on my job. Anyway, so yeah, just playing a bit to learn more and more about it. But I did another trial, and this time from the start it lasted more than 4 hours with my router, which is awesome and exactly what I need. And I will keep the advice from nJoy to not force power it on again to drain more from the battery, basically over discharging it presumably. The battery on my phone just died, so it might need a new PS. As I was trying to say, seeing that it started to hold for longer from the start, it might mean that it's learning the battery, or actually the battery needs a few good charges to get up to maximum capacity. So we'll be seeing about that in the future. But yeah, much better than the Eton, and for sure I am keeping this one around. So yeah, it's a bummer that I cannot fully disable that beeping sound when we don't have power, but hey, it is what it is, and nothing that we can do about it, sadly. Maybe after 3 years when I don't have, or 2 years, no, 3 years, when I don't have warranty anymore on this, I will just remove the buzzer. But then again, I will lose all the error buzzing, not only the no mains one. So yeah, maybe Eton, Jesus, they keep haunting me. Maybe nJoy can find a way to just remove that beeping at every 10 seconds or so. So yeah, and maybe you can hear some Christmas carols in the background. My daughters are playing some on their toys. That's about it for this video. Long, but in the end I got myself a good UPS, much better than the Eton. So hope this video helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.